Hello YouTube friends, it's Victoria from Victoria Makes. Today's video is about collecting items that you have used or you find or you come into the house, be it cardboard material, little bits and bobs of things that you're going to throw away, and then putting them into your craft stash and collecting them so that in future craft projects you've got a whole box full of bits and bobs, which saves you money and you don't have to go out and buy things which often can cost a lot of money. So I'm going to show you what I've gathered over the last few years and how I store them and what I've used to store them, to give you some ideas. Instead of buying expensive sewing basket or storage boxes, there are free or cheap ways of putting all your crafts away. So just join me for today to see all the little bits and bobs that I've got here, and then in future you'll know exactly what I'm using, and obviously hopefully this will save you quite a lot of money in the long run. There's plenty of these things we can reuse and recycle. So join me and let's have a little look at what is in the boxes. So you get boxes all the time with your shoes, don't you? And parcels come through when you order things from big companies, and basically you've got to look and think, can I utilise this box? So this box was just a box for some boots or shoes. I keep things in here, and what I've done is, using lovely papers, just prettified it all up with some florals, and that's a storage box. It looks a bit better than a cardboard box, and so I use these sort of things. Also, these are great pieces of cardboard that you can use for templates. So if I make craft projects and I need a template, it's good to make it out of cardboard. You know, hearts and patchwork, hexagons, triangles, anything you need, bookmarks, anything that you're using in crafting, journaling. These make useful items that you can actually cover and stick and strengthen with. So always keep a bit of cardboard or old boxes and things that you can utilise at a further date. Just put them away. So this one was another box, and I've got my sewing notions in here, and what I did is, it was a normal box but I added a little flap on it, so inside you can see a little bit of an extra, it just sort of like flaps over, and then I put some ribbon on it and I covered it with lots of different papers to make it more attractive, and then I put a little label on it so I know exactly what's in this one, sewing notions. And I keep all little bits of fabric in here. This was like a ball of wool. I've got pipe cleaners in, a bit of fringing, some extra bits of ribbon, tassels. This is fabric that I have cut up now in little circles, and I'll use that for my jam pot covers. It was just all old fabric that I had, and I've cut it all up nicely so that they can be lovely jam pot covers when I give my jams gifts. And I tend to keep extra bits of lace and a few ribbons in here as well, and it all is contained. Main thing is, that's what I've cut out of cardboard, and I'll wrap ribbon round it or a bit of lace to keep it safe. So that's that one. And then I've done this one. Again, this is a normal cardboard box that I've recovered just with, you know, scrap pieces of paper. I mean, these are about £6, £7, £8 in the shops, and it's just simple. And I've labelled there all my papers, and basically I keep all sorts of paper stock in here. Everything from nice little images, wallpaper samples, bits of wrapping, like a food wrapper, nice little images from magazines I rip out, and all these things, you know, whatever you love, you can just cut magazines up and just stick them in a box, and then this will come in handy for doing your crafting later on. And it could be from anything. Magazines are a great source to get good pictures. You might buy packs of pretty papers from discount shops and craft shops, and then you can keep them all together. So this has got all my papers in. There's some paper that I've stained with coffee and tea that I use in my journaling, books that I've pulled out of books already, ripped all the pages out. These are useful as well. to be used in different projects. There's a songbook, which is nice to do Christmas craft. And then what you really need to do is make sure that you put down what's in each box, because then when you put them away, you can get to them quickly. This was a pretty box that I had already from a purchase that I made, and this is really what got me started, which I thought it was like a patchwork box already, and I thought, oh, that's gorgeous. So that's what I've kind of copied. And this is all my cardboard in here, so it could be from food, cardboard from food, and card stock, old beautiful images from cards that I've received from people, and then pieces of card. And like I said before, this is very useful to use in bookmaking and any sort of craft as well. So it could be from chocolate, cereal packets, pizza boxes, you name it. If it's a good piece of card, you don't want to keep every mortal thing, because you know you're just hoarding unnecessarily then, but you need to be mindful and keep decent pieces of card and paper and designs, so that if you need it, you've got a little bit of stock that you can check first. And I find cereal boxes are really good for that, and you know, food packaging as well. So I just cut them up. You don't want the edges, but keeping the best bit as large as possible. That won't fit in the box, so I'll just put that off there. And then that's good. Okay, so keep all your cardboard to a certain degree, you know. Obviously don't keep everything and become a hoarder, but you need a good amount of stock for projects. So that's my cardboard one, again in a pretty box, and then I put that away in the dresser, all these boxes, so they look pretty but I can get to them very, very quickly. And this one was another cardboard box, but I covered that in fabric using PVA glue, and this was actually using these circles that I've already cut out for those jam pots, and I really like that, how that's come out. And it's just basically like a patchwork effect, and in there are my glue supplies, so PVA glue, glue gun, paper glue, and some paints as well, and brushes. So they all are kept there. Again, it's all about getting everything together, so when you've got a project and you know what type of material you need, you know, you can go for the cardboard or you can go for the paper box. So it just makes it a lot easier. And this one I found in a charity shop. It was brown colour, so it was decorative before, but all I've just done is upcycled it and painted it in this lovely duck egg blue, and inside by putting some pretty images in, and then sticking nice papers in the bottom as well. So underneath everything you've got some nice little images, which are images of vintage Kath Kidson images from a long time ago, before the company was taken over by a Chinese company, when it was really like vintage themed. Some beautiful stuff that they had there in those days when they first started 15-20 years ago. And yeah, so I've utilised a lot of things like that, and I've got a few notions in here as well. So that's mainly really for sewing. My mum bought me this sewing box, which was just plain red, and I just thought I wanted to upcycle it a little bit more, so I got some embroidered linen tablecloths that were stained, so I just cut a heart shape out and then put all fringing round and put some pretty flowers on, so just upcycled it a little bit, so it's a little bit different, you know, it's a little bit unique. So it's all about looking at what you need and looking what you're going to throw away. So, you know, pair of pyjamas, got a little bit baggy, past the best, but the fabric was in the tartan, and I thought I'm going to cut those up, put them in the fabric stash, that will come in handy for something. Even the edges. Now you'd think, oh gosh, what are you going to do with that? But this is the seam edge, and I've cut the fabric away from it, and it's very, very strong indeed. So it could become a tie, it could be bound around a journal, it's got texture, so I'm going to keep that. You can send for samples from different companies, and you only pay a nominal amount of money for them, and these are really good because sometimes you get a nicer size to your sample, then you can utilise that in a project. I've used these to cover some of my books. I will be doing a video on journaling and fabric book covers. So I'll show you one just for an example, and it's a nice little notebook, and I've covered it with the fabric and then put edges on, and this I'll do another video shortly for that. These were all bed sheets that I picked up years ago, and I decided I'd make a big patchwork, and it's an ongoing project at the moment, so that's sort of in my sewing basket. Keep adding to it all different designs. And then this lot here, again, we've got some embroidered tablecloths with some stains on, and this is the thing, you see, when it's something that you can't really use, then it's best to get it in your basket for a future craft project. And there's lots of things you can use and make, and we'll be doing some videos on this as well. So all these are things that I've saved and I use them in the crafts. Now, you might think, a book, what are you going to do with a book? We've read this book, okay, and I've passed it on to other people, all my books, but from time to time I want a journal, and I like making journals and filling them in. So I get an old second-hand book, which is often a stained one and in not very good condition, and basically I will remove this part of it, keeping part of the spine attached, and this cover, and this will make a fabulous journal, and we'll cover it in fabric or paper, and we'll insert new pages, and this will become a journal. And I'll be doing many of those videos coming up. Here's two that I have done recently. This is a seaside theme, and I tend to put things in to do with the sea on my travels, and when I want to do some painting, some mixed media, I'll fill it in with a seaside theme. When I go on holiday, I'll do painting at the seaside while I'm there, and that is I tend to have a theme with my journals so that I know which journal I need to use. And this one here is just a really pretty one that I'm making up at the minute with nothing in it, and they've all got separate like books in here that I've upcycled, and I'm just filling it in. Lots of different bought notepads, and then I've covered them with fabric, and then I've placed them in this journal that I've made. Okay, so this will be a nice useful one that I will use in time. So I love doing things like that. So again, another video on this. It's about being mindful and looking at things in a new way, and seeing that if there's something in that item that you could use in a future project. So when you've got your recycling out and you've got, you know, a tin can with maybe a lid, really clean, coffee can or whatever, that could be a great upcycle project. So, you know, these sort of things I tend to keep. So I've covered this in fabric or paper in the past. It's got a lid, can become a new storage can, made well. So you could put anything from buttons in that, or screws, have it in a tool room, any nicks and knacks that you need to keep. So look at things differently and try and keep bits and bobs. And in the up and coming videos, I will show you how to use these items to make some really good crafts with, which are not going to cost a lot of money, but they are fun to make and then fun to use. So I hope this has been a bit of an informative video, and it inspires you to look at things in a new way and see the benefits of keeping a few things, but don't become a hoarder. Anybody who's interested in craft often have a lot of things. Most people will openly admit that they do have too many items, so it's finding that balance, isn't it? Trying to find things that you can utilise in the future, but not really hoarding stuff too much, and having fun and using things up. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, give it a like, please subscribe. I'll be making lots of things in the future. We're going to be doing fabric and paper covered notepads, journaling, and making things from scrap, maybe stained embroidered tablecloths, and what to make, patchworking, sewing projects, and doing all sorts of different things in the home, obviously baking as well. So I hope you'll join me and you'll come along. If you've got any suggestions of anything that you'd like to see me make, please leave them in the comments. I'll be really interested to know what you're making as well. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and hope to see you again soon. Bye now.